I chose a crypto here just to vary it. The one advantage the retail guy has for building wealth and investing and trading is that you get to choose when you engage. Institutions have to give you a bid and an offer. They're always in. And I'm always shocked by the degree of compulsion. I call it compulsion. You have to be in. It's so destructive to be in the wrong time. It is damaging. So you really want to be selective and have a whole bunch of criteria that are met so that the probabilities of a particular outcome are far more skewed in your favor, and the space stroke distance from your entry and stop is super tight. Best thing to learn is actually money management, and then to determine when and be far more selective. So one of the key things for becoming a successful trader is cut your number of trades. First, measure how many trades you're making in a month. Cut them by 66%. So you go down to 1/3 of what you typically do. What that does is it forces you to get over compulsion, the always in. It's not work if you're not in the market. You need to get past that compulsion. Then you have to say, well, I need far more selective criteria then if I'm going to trade so little, because now I have to, I have to be more productive. So you start putting the onus on that. And also you should avoid going full-time on trading immediately. You should have a day job. Go work, go self-actualize in the world, because part of the emotional development of being a better person that adds value in life, in ordinary things, is part of the trader's development emotionally. Generally, you can't be an immature trust fund brat, and then you need that emotional development anyway.
Hello and welcome to Crypto Street, where we bring you the latest and most intriguing stories from the world of cryptocurrencies. Now let's begin our enlightening discussion with Francis Hunt.
Central banks and inflation. Inflation is policy. They don't tell you that, but inflation is absolute policy. It's how they get to continue spending and grow government expenditure and create a cartel of insiders that get exceedingly wealthy, and how they have a sufficiently large group of patsies that have to hold the other side of that hypervaluation they experience, and that's the devaluation. So putting you on a greased pole is the sure way to keep you having to climb like a monkey on a greased pole. Just to make any form of holding your space in real terms. And then you have to climb extra fast to actually make ground. So inflation is typically policy. You always get told deflation is terrible. Essentially, deflation is a situation where your currency buys more goods. Well, of course it's terrible for them, because debt goes up in value and the purchasing power of the consumer goes up in value. They don't want that. They want to keep adding debt and devaluing it. So if you look at where we are now that we brought up debt, money is borrowed into existence. So you essentially have a situation where there is so much money that has been borrowed into existence. The debt is getting so vast. Just on that point, you had a trade deficit of 89 billion 2 months ago, and the month after that, it was just shy of 300 billion, 280 billion. So that's a massive spike in trade deficit. So that means you're spending more money than you get in with other nations. And that's part and parcel of, you've got massive interest rate. You've got more imports than exports, first of all. So you're exporting dollars and you're importing products generally as America. But then when you look at the general deficit, you have reduced tax income. You have increased interest rate expenditure, but you've now done these interest rates, and you've got ever escalating amounts of debt. So you have to keep paying much higher. You're spending more now on interest rate payments than your military industrial complex and defense, which is a huge pig in the room, I have to add as well, in terms of individuals. And it's a growing one. If you just look at where the mixed stocks are nowadays, they're very close to all-time highs. In fact, we see status tokens playing a substantial role in this forthcoming freedom-denying, totalitarian central bank digital currency concept that they will be unrolling to us. And as a result, it's not something that brings us great glee. But the point of the matter is, it is what it is. And with the opportunity to make wealth out of this, we won't necessarily participate in their schemes, but we want to participate in things that will be wealth building. And you can see these are classic examples of what we call volatility constrictions. But gold and silver do this all the time. Currencies do this, equities. We have an entire community where we are bringing together and analyzing just this one thing. So we say, be the brain surgeon rather than the paramedic. One of the early trader mistakes is, well, it's maybe not even a mistake. It might just be a path of development, is that you tried many different things, many different days. You'd come in and trade Bollinger Bands one day, and then this indicator crossing with that indicator. Then you do pivot points. Then you would do news. There's a news event, the payrolls numbers coming out, and have a guess on that. And that all quickly over time, you realize that there's nothing that long term. You'll have a few good days, but generally, my experience is you will lose money.
Don't forget to join us as we continue to explore the unfolding events. Now let's look at the latest news in the cryptocurrency market. Then we turn back to Francis Hunt. Bitcoin turns green as large whales make moves. BCH 5%. Higher on Monday. XLM avoids drop below support. Federal Reserve Governor hints at more interest rate hikes. Brazil's president reaffirms de-dollarization call. Discusses BRICS expansion. U.S. official calls for stablecoin law amid PayPal's PYUSD launch. NFT theft decreased 20% in July. What's happening in the crypto market? Let's take a quick look at those technical analysis. Bitcoin started the week mostly flat as market volatility remained near recent lows during today's session. Traders appear to be on the sidelines ahead of Wednesday's key inflation report from the United States. Ethereum mostly consolidated on Monday.
It's happening on WorldCoin right now. Sam Altman has created a token that's clearly going to turn into, so they want to essentially, for this grid that they're bringing down on you, and it is a slave management grid, they want everybody first to be 100% identifiable biometrically, so that they can say you made that transaction, that is a taxable event, real-time taxation can be applied, all forms of extraction can be applied. You can be blamed for your carbon footprint, your social score, you said something horrible on Twitter. So eventually Twitter, all these social medias, everything, you'll be biometrically tagged and pinned for being that. So, you say something unfriendly to, Joe Biden or something like that, you could get black points for being, a subversive of some form. And the way they do that is they want to clearly identify you. So they offer you this conjured up coin where you'll get some tokens which will have some value, and they'll first do a coin go up where they control it and bid it up. They might only have released some of it, and they'll throw a whole bunch of money at it, and they'll be part of the bid that consistently buys it up. So everybody goes, free money, and it's going up, and I'm going to get rich. So, greed factor will drive everybody into WorldCoin, and they'll be lining up to have the orb scan their iris. And you'll start to have lots of people, and they say, because you've done this, it's going to be much quicker and safer and easier for you to buy at the stores where there's shoplifters for 2,000. They'll lock up the stores because, there's people that's doing shoplifting, and you'll have to have an iris scan to go in. So they allow the crime. That creates the need to prevent the crime. That will probably have stores look more like banks, eventually health services, all of these things. They'll say, well, we get all your medical records. We first need to know it's you, so that we can have access to that private data. So it's all going to be, you're going to be bullied into, in essence, moving into the blockchain with who you are, what you are, all your information. Essentially, any form of privacy will be, they'll say only certain government departments will have access to only certain aspects of your profile, and you'll have to have an approval. But at the very top, they will have everything about you transnationally. That's the big thing that Fink loves, is saying, well, no longer are you bound by nation boundaries. It's transnational. Well, what transnational does is it leads you into world governance. They'll then say, well, we need rules that extend for all nation states, because technically anyone can own Bitcoin and send Bitcoin to somebody else. That leads to a globalized tax system. And then eventually, as I say, real-time taxation and extraction.
That wraps up today's crypto news highlights. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and analysis from the world of cryptocurrencies. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content.